The days of an average man being able to stand up for himself and forge his own path are over. That's all in the past now. Used to be a time when a man could stay true to himself and speak his mind, even if what he had to say was controversial. But as long as a man had conviction behind his words and he had confidence in what he was saying, he would still be respected. Not necessarily by everyone, but a man could go against the grain a little bit. He could be a true individual with his own unique thoughts and ideas about the world, and he could still be successful socially. He could have friends and relationships, romantic relationships. He could get married. He could have kids. All of it. Back then, people weren't so programmed. We didn't live in a society full of nothing but NPCs. So if you had conviction in your beliefs, people would still respect you even if they disagreed with what you're saying. There was room for disagreement. Diversity of thought was actually a thing back then. And it wasn't even that long ago, really. I think even up till maybe sometime in the 2010s, whenever smartphones became ubiquitous, that's when things really fell apart. I mean, it's always been the case for guys that are very unattractive or really short or whatever. Even back in the day, people would judge you for your appearance. So I'm not saying it was easy for literally every man in the world to just go around being a contrarian all day and still have a strong social circle, but it's definitely gotten a lot worse in recent years. The way things are now, social media has made it so basically there's always just one prevailing opinion on any given topic that gets pushed in the mainstream, and it just gets reinforced over and over again across social media and mainstream media, and then it gets reinforced through real-life conversations people are having. And if you go against that, if you dare to express any sort of view that goes contrary to that one prevailing opinion, then you risk ostracization. And a big part of this, I think, is just that people are so afraid these days to go against the grain. Everybody's afraid if they say what they really think, they'll end up becoming the next viral video. Because everybody's got a 4K resolution camera in their pocket at all times, and it's as easy as just pressing a button to post on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And we've all seen these viral Karen videos, these public freakout videos, and all these viral tweets or whatever where somebody ends up getting canceled. Right or wrong, obviously some of these people that go viral for saying something racist or whatever, yeah, sometimes they are in the wrong, but not always. Sometimes people are just misunderstood, or, the clip is taken out of context. And sometimes someone might just have a controversial opinion on one specific topic. Doesn't mean they're an irredeemable bigot. Sometimes maybe they are, I'm sure, but either way, what I'm saying is, everybody is hyper aware of this cancel culture we're living in. Everybody's afraid of being in that position and having that spotlight turned on them against their will. Even if you don't really hold any super out there beliefs on anything, you still might feel that fear, that sense of psychological terror if you accidentally say the wrong thing, if you don't conform. Conformity is more heavily enforced now than it ever has been before. I mean, you'll literally just get banned on most social media platforms for going against the grain on certain topics. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure most men do naturally have some level of independent thought. Men have testosterone. It's coursing through all of our veins. Testosterone makes you trust yourself. It makes you contrarian. So I think most men in this social climate today are just afraid. That's why they act all feminine. They act like hall monitors. And I can't fully blame them. There are actual consequences you might face if you say the quote unquote wrong thing. So you do got to be careful. But everybody's policing each other's speech these days. Women are by far the biggest hall monitors in this society. There's no question about that. But I mean, I don't think I even need to say this. If you're watching this video, then you probably already know, but we live in a simp-infested society. So women are women, they're sensitive to a fault. They care about every little social issue under the sun. And, well, that's really just downstream from the fact that women tend to be very susceptible to conformity. They are very susceptible to social pressure. But because women enforce conformity so aggressively, all these weak-hearted simps out here, which is probably like 90% of men these days, they all want to be hall monitors too. So if you're a man and you actually have even a lick bit of self-respect these days, you can probably expect to be single from here on out. And you can probably expect to have a lot of trouble holding on to guy friends too. Or, maintaining friendship with other guys. Just to be clear, I know that if a guy is good looking and he's got a good job and everything, then yeah, he's still not going to have much trouble attracting women. They're still not going to reject a total Chad just because he has some problematic beliefs. But what they will do, they'll go out with a guy, even like a woman will get married to a guy. She'll commit to spending her entire life with him, but she'll still constantly be trying to fix him. She'll still constantly be trying to police his thoughts, just constantly in his ear, like, no, you shouldn't say that. That's mean. No, that's racist. Oh my God, don't talk like that. And just constantly trying to change a guy, just trying to wear him down. And if you're not careful, I don't care who you are, you can probably be defeated if you don't nip that shit in the bud. Okay, so a highly attractive man, a high value man, as they say, he can still get with women. Sure, he doesn't have to be single, but it's just a matter of how much do you respect yourself? Do you respect yourself enough to actually walk away when a woman is constantly nagging you, constantly belittling you, just trying to police your words, chipping away at your soul slowly over time? Do you respect yourself enough to walk away in that situation? Because when somebody treats you that way, like you're a child that needs to be corrected, that's not mutual respect. Okay, so she does not respect you. Do you respect you? Okay, so that's what I mean when I say that any self-respecting man from this point forward, you're probably going to be staying single and you're probably going to struggle to build close bonds with other men as well, because most men do not respect themselves. So other men are actually some of the most diligent foot soldiers in this war against independent thought. One of the ways that men build bonds together, throughout all of history it's been like this, one thing men do is they'll say something wildly inappropriate in another man's presence. Classic locker room talk, objectifying women in a very hyperbolic way, or just making some sort of edgy joke or something. You might think, oh, well, that's just the way that guys joke around, which is true, but that type of behavior actually serves a very important function in male friendship. Because when you make an incredibly offensive joke to your buddy and he jokes right back with you, maybe he even amplifies it, it's a way of letting each other know, hey man, I trust you. I trust you enough to say this thing around you that would get me instantly canceled in broader society because you're my boy and I know you're not going to tell on me. So that sort of locker room talk, it's actually a crucial part of how men bond with each other and build strong friendships together over time. So all this thought policing and simping and enforcing conformity to feminine sensibilities, it's created this environment where it's very difficult for men to form close bonds. Now, is that by design, or is that just a byproduct of other social factors? I don't have the answer to that, but it's really hard to make friends as a man when I never know if a hot girl walks by and I'm hanging out with some acquaintance I don't really know all that well, I can't even make a crude comment about the hot girl that walked by, because I don't know if this other guy is going to be a simp and try to shame me for objectifying women. And he might be thinking the same thing, but we'll never know because we've both already been so beaten down by the thought police. Neither of us is willing to take that risk. So our friendship just never really gets off the ground. It never has the chance to develop past the point of just talking about the weather or whatever. So you can't even build close bonds with other dudes anymore. The thing that really got me noticing how it is these days, or the thing that first made me realize where society is headed in this hyper-feminine direction, it was the whole Donald Trump grab him by the kitty thing. Nothing surprised me about women's reactions to it. Obviously, women are going to act just so shocked and appalled at something like that. But what did surprise me at the time was how many dudes, even people I know in real life, people were talking about it on Facebook and everything, the sheer number of full-grown adult men that were equating that statement to a certain kind of assault, it really put things into perspective for me. That was when I realized, oh shit, men are acting just like women now. Everybody's trying to police speech. It's not just the women. Men are trying to police speech. That was a pretty regular sort of thing for men to say to each other. The thing that Trump said to Billy Bush, I think was the guy's name. That's just how guys joke around. It's really not that serious. I heard much worse than that every single day of high school in the locker room during PE. And truly, it has gotten worse since then. I guess that was like 10 years ago now. But yeah, it's just crazy out here. The current social climate is just so sterile. It's like men's spaces are just as sterile as the freaking waiting room at the dentist. Obviously, there are still some bastions of free speech left. I'm sure if you worked on an oil rig, you'll probably still see dudes acting like dudes. But I don't know, because I remember the last time I got an oil change, I noticed there was 2 women in the back working there, working on the cars. So, that right there, we're at the point now, they've infiltrated the frickin' tire shop. So I'm sure everybody back there in the garage is just talking about, I don't know, frickin' shampoo or whatever women talk about. But seriously, that is a classically male space where men could just bullshit and be men without fear of offending anybody. But I guess that's changed. Even before I was born, the way I think of the tire shop as being a classic male space, that used to be every job, or most jobs, even office jobs. But that time is long gone. So I guess things have been trending in that direction for a while, but all I know is it's really bad right now. It's really bad. Because like I say, you literally can't even have self-respect as a man anymore. Not if you want to have close relationships with people, which, that is kind of a basic human need. So, yeah, it's brutal. I want to say you should still stand up for yourself and stay true to yourself and speak your mind, even with the climate being what it is, because nothing's ever going to change if men don't just collectively say, okay, enough is enough. But at the same time, that's a lot easier said than done. I mean, I do think we should all try to stay strong and keep our self-respect for those of you that still have it. But I can't really blame a guy at this point for holding in his opinion sometimes if that's what he's got to do to get some. I know better than most. Being alone all the time is pretty fucking hard. So do what you got to do. But at the very least, this hall monitor behavior, snitching on other men just because they said something offensive towards women or minorities or whatever, just let dudes rock out with their own ideas, okay? Let people express their opinions without trying to whip them back in line. I'm not saying you can't argue with someone if you disagree with what they said. In fact, you should do that. But don't go telling on people. Don't try to get a mob together to take a guy down with brute force shaming. If you disagree with someone, even if you think what they said is really repugnant, you can just argue with your words, one-on-one. Or you can just ignore them and move on. Trying to bait someone into saying something offensive and then pulling out your phone so you can expose them to mob justice, that is the wrong way to go about it. It's very feminine. It's just hall monitor behavior. And it's pathetic. Also, it's really not that hard to tell the difference between a guy that's just joking around or just doing a bit of shit talking with the boys versus a guy that's actually genuinely trying to spread hate. I'm tired of everyone acting like they can't tell the difference. Everybody on YouTube complains about the automated AI moderation that just goes around handing out community guideline strikes for things that really don't even make sense. I know they've dinged me on some things that is just baffling. But honestly, I don't think it would really be any better if they actually had human beings reviewing every single video, because people these days can't even tell the difference in a joke and a sincere statement, even if you're looking them right in the eye and winking as you say it. So, I don't know. Nuance is dead. Men acting like regular dudes and joking around with each other, it's no longer allowed. Even that is being policed by all the little gold star hall monitors in this fucking panopticon we're living in. It's like, as if the dating scene right now wasn't bad enough already, even if you do manage to get a woman to fall in love with you, you better believe she is going to do whatever she can to make sure you do not get too far out of line. She's going to do what she's got to do to make sure you stay in formation with the progressive orthodoxy. I mean, the way women act sometimes, it's like they must think they're actually being recorded at all times. Which, I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe all these smart devices and everything really are keeping tabs on us. But it's just rough out here these days. And another thing, female empowerment is such an ever-present message in this society, and it has been for a long time. So it's almost like a lot of women are just brainwashed these days into thinking that whatever they feel in the moment is the absolute truth, and they feel entitled to enforce it. I mean, obviously the concept of nagging is nothing new, but I think women are just emboldened these days with all the rhetoric coming from mainstream media and social media. And, it's coming from every angle. These modern women are told their whole lives they don't have to compromise. They are the prize. What is it they always say? If you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. Even if them at their best sometimes is an obese, capital F loosey with a double-digit body count and borderline personality disorder. The way this society is structured gives women these insanely huge egos. They want it their way or the highway. But a self-respecting man can only take so much. A man that actually respects himself, which is rare these days. I mean, I'm saying all this But I'll be the first to admit, I'm so freaking lonely. I honestly don't know if I would have the courage to stand up for myself in most situations. Actually, I remember a little while back, I did somehow manage to get a girlfriend for maybe like 2 weeks. First girlfriend I ever had in my life. She never let me hit, by the way, in case you're wondering. It really wasn't much of a relationship at all. But yeah, aside from that, I remember we were listening to NPR one time because that's what she wanted to listen to. But they had some guest on there, some guy with a really deep voice. I don't remember what they were talking about, but he started off his thing by saying that he goes by he, him pronouns. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I said something like, no shit, he goes by he. Dude sounds like the fucking Allstate guy. And I swear to God, this girl acted like she was so offended. Like I just said the most bigoted thing she's ever heard in her life. And she was literally openly racist. Okay, I heard her say very racist things. So I don't know what kind of miniature mad scientist she's got inside her brain cranking the gears around, but yeah, I don't even know. But I will admit, I did not stand up for myself because I'll be honest, I was really hoping I might be able to get some. Okay, she had told me she wanted to wait till marriage. I was kind of, that's whatever. It's neither here nor there. I did break up with this girl, though, not long after that. Not because of that, but I should have never put up with that disrespect in the first place. But that's how it is for a lot of guys. You know, it's very difficult to be strong in the moment sometimes. But as soon as I did finally decide to start having some respect for myself, I had to call it quits. And that's exactly what I did. So, actually respecting yourself, you hear all these red pill guys talking about holding frame and everything. That probably works to some degree if you are actually a high value man that women desire. But a man can only put up with so much abuse. And I don't think there's really all that many women left these days that don't have these monster-sized egos. So it's really just a bad state of affairs. But yeah, I'm trying to remember in my own personal life to always show my self-respect, which is hard when I am objectively a loser according to most metrics, but I still think more men need to actively practice having self-respect, even if that means it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to maintain relationships these days. I don't think living in fear and letting a woman walk all over you is a life worth living. And I don't think letting other guys try to publicly shame you for any little slightly contrarian opinion you have, I don't think that's okay either. And I just don't think it's worth living life if that's the kind of life you're going to live, if you're just going to conform out of fear. But hey, maybe that's just me. Please check out some of my other videos if you enjoyed this one, and leave a comment. I don't always have time to reply, but I do try to read all the comments. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next one.